Today I'm going to be doing a fuel pump on a Chevy car. In this case it's a Cavalier. And here in Alberta, Canada, the roads are really rusted. The clamp that was on this was rattling down here. I had to get rid of it, so it was making a bunch of ruckus. One of the unique things on these, this is a 97 model. Later they made them horizontal because these fill up with dirt. This is where your quick disconnect fits in. And when it becomes full of dust and then water, sets up like concrete in there. So what I do is I spray it full of PB Blaster, and then I blow it out with compressed air using a little air nozzle like this. You'll need a special tool in order to do this job. As I mentioned, you have to have a quick disconnect tool. It's a 5/16 inch, and this is my favorite type. I don't know what the brand is. There's a bunch of different ones that look like a pair of scissors that pivot in the middle. There's also ones that are just a little end and that's all you get, and they're hard to get on. These are great and they last a long time and they're easy to work with. You'll need a 15mm socket and an extension and a ratchet. You'll need a flat screwdriver for doing your hose clamps, 90-degree bend pliers I use on everything, flathead screwdriver, rubber mallet, and then a pair of pliers to get your filler neck hoses to let go. So what you do is you loosen, looking at the tank, you want to loosen your hose clamps and then slide them off out of the way. I usually just bring them up, don't have your eyes directly under, it's so rusted it'll get in your eyes. And then you take your pliers, slide them to the appropriate size, and then grab onto your hoses and then just twist them. Twist them one way, twist them the other way, get them to move, so otherwise they will not come off. We'll twist this one. And once you've twisted them, then you can kind of collapse it back like this. Just work it back and forth and they'll pull off. Just twist and pull. You also want to disconnect your fuel filter. Push in on the tabs, just slide that off. Have a drain container or something handy. And just tuck that behind the trailing axle. See, I've not got a drain pan. And you pull out the electrical plug harness. You pull out the red tab first, and then once you pull that off, then you grab over the top of the buckle and pull that as well, and just lay that aside. There's two of them that go in at this point, and one of them goes to your rear ABS and all this other stuff. The other one's a fuel pump, so you just tuck that out of the way. Unbuckle the fuel harness if you have ABS. Unbuckle that from the tank strap, and then the next thing you want to do is clear all the crud out of this. And then once you've done that, then you take your quick disconnect tool, you just pop it up in there. I tried using a tripod for this so I could use two hands, but doggone it, my tripod's just too long and I couldn't make it work. So I'll see if I can do this one-handed. So you just pull that off. The way this works is it's got those springs inside the collet there and a little bump in the line. You can see that little compression kind of a thing there. So what your tool does is it creates a ramp for those springs to go over that. Those little springs are what hold it on. And then there's O-rings further up in there that are yellow that seal the line. And then you've got a breather hose that's tucked in behind that. So you'll want to squeeze that. We're dripping everywhere. So you've got a little collar and you got to squeeze that. And then once you do, you can twist it and get it to pull down. So this is everything that's going to the fuel pump here, and then these two are the ones for the fuel tank. I'm gonna switch hands and get gas all over my camera now. But you just twist and work this. They don't come off easy, but with a little perseverance, get rowdy on it, it'll come off. Try working on camera, it's tough. especially when things are stuck. So next thing you'll do is get your 15mm ratchet and go up behind the trailing axle with a 10-inch, 12-inch extension. Set it to loosen and just loosen the bolts on each side. And once you do that, you'll want to get both hands free because we're going to be catching the tank. Now you'll see that the exhaust and exhaust shield are blocking the tank from coming down. This side's pretty clear. You want to support the vehicle in such a manner that you have access to work under the tank. As I do, you want to have the vehicle supported in two places, either a jack and a jack stand, or two jack stands, or two jacks, and a king and a queen, and a pair of aces. So anyway, I'll go off camera and we'll get the tank coming down and just go from there. So as you can see, I've got my straps down and the tank is kind of hanging down precariously. You'll find that the strap will hang on the trailing axle long before it'll ever have any desire to come down. And I got ahead of myself tucking this down here because now it's going to fight me and pee on my hand. But you get the idea. It's kind of like pressing pause on the game. Also your filler necks, they hold the tank up over the top too. So I'll wrestle that down, and then once I get it down to a certain height, I'll slide it out this way and onto the ground, and then we'll be able to access the fuel sending unit. This one comes as a strainer, fuel gauge, sending unit, and the pump and everything is one. For those of you working along from home, it should look something like this. We've got the tank just hanging down at an angle, and it won't go, and then all of a sudden it'll just kind of slide down, and then you can support it from this side. Give it a little wiggle, and then you can see it's just hanging by this one strap. So I'll get my hands free and pull it out the rest of the way. So once you've got the tank out, it's a good idea to take some compressed air and clean all around the tank so that get down in there once you pull this out. You can see that there's a little clip right here, and what you do is you take a screwdriver and push that up. I'll show you. So the first thing I like to do is get rid of the little clips for your pressure sending unit, and stupid safety clip that holds the power wire on. I should have staged that. I'm sorry. Let's vandalize that up and out of there. Some parts I have a lot of respect and patience for, and other ones I just don't. That's one of them. Pry this up and out. If you have snap ring pliers or something, it makes the job a lot easier. But if you don't, and you just have a screwdriver, this is how you do it. So just figure I'd demonstrate that, because a lot of people that'll be the case. So I get the ring out, blow it up again, make sure it's nice and clean, and then take your screwdriver and open this up. Looks like you just key in from right here. Lego my ego. There we go. I'm telling you, one-handed this isn't easy, and you turn the camera on, it's a whole new ball game. Okay, so wire harness stays, and these three lines are going to come out. These are all molded on. You never want to cut these off because they're all shrunk onto the pump. There's no real good way to reconnect these or do much of anything with them. I once ordered a fuel pump, or my sister did, for her car. It's actually a 98 one of these, and the guy at the wrecking yard didn't know that, and he cut these all off at the vehicle, and so the pump was worthless. It was kind of a frustrating deal for everybody involved. So just pry this up, and out comes the fuel pump. Yeah, there's a sock that's a strainer, and then there's also the sending unit that you're going to have to be mindful of as this comes out. Of course, this is going to try to spill everywhere. And wherever this spills, no grass will grow. Do you see any weeds in my driveway? And oh, there's one. So I'm not advocating this. It's probably going to make people mad, but it works awesome, and I'm going to wind up spilling it one way or another. So I don't think I have any more weeds. Anyway, that's the fuel sending unit. We'll go ahead and here's a responsible way to dispose of the gas. Pour it into a petroleum recycling bin. Now see the O-ring that's on here? If you don't have this on properly, you'll get a P0440 or a P0442 or whatever for evap leak. So you want to make sure that you do that good. If you put gasoline on this or silicone spray, it'll go in really easy without any problems. We're going to be installing a new AirTex unit, and so apparently it comes with everything. Probably snip this and clip it around, but you can see that the level sending unit, it's just taped to the side here. So we'll go ahead and untape that, and then before putting it on to have to wrestle it again, we'll just fish our O-ring on from below like that. And that little red thing, I'm confident isn't supposed to be there once it's installed. Little dust. We want to keep things clean. Dirt is the enemy. Anyway, you just click that in there, just like that. Wipe the dust off. Get that about in the middle. And when we string this in, I put it in the float first, then the sock, and then line up the lines how they were when it went in. There's a little tab on the back of the tank. You just line that up, and then get your little clip. Get it kind of ready. And then now's about the right time to do the silicone spray. We'll just kind of CPR maneuver this sucker in. You could stick your finger in the tank and get gas on it and run gasoline around it, and that works really well. I learned that from Scotty Kilmer, watching his videos. I always like to use the silicone spray, but I tried gas the other day on an injector job I did, and I liked it. It worked really good. I was really surprised. I was like, how can this be so effective and so easy? This just came with a new clip. This one scares me. It's so rusted and thin. So that's in all the way around. Give it a good final push, and I guess I'll go ahead and just take these off. All the rocks and everything in there. I can go ahead and take this off and change that out so I save the thing, or I can just swap these into there. Either way. But look, I got a new wire harness to go in my little thing of plugs. I save all these different GM plugs, Toyota plugs, whatever, just nip them off and throw them in a box. If I do an engine swap or transmission swap or whatever, I've got an impressive collection. And then if something gets creamed accidentally as I'm working on things, oh look at this thing, just clip it in. Then I can just go to that box and get what I need from that and not have to order it for 30 bucks from the dealership and wait for a whole week for it to come. So, pretty cool idea. So that's how you do the fuel pump on this, and then the rest you just click it all back together in the car. I forgot to say, gotta remind people to subscribe and like the video or they won't. And if you don't have a good following, then what's the point of doing it, right? So be sure to click subscribe. It's a button above. If you want to add it to your favorites, click add to down arrow and then favorites. And if you saw something I missed, or if you know a better way of doing what I just did, feel free to tell me. You can put a comment in the comments below. Thanks.